Hi class, so today I'm going to distinguish between process costing and job costing system. So process costing would be used for like mass production and that type of stuff when you're producing a lot of products that are all the same. Drumsticks would be a good example. They probably produce lots of drumsticks, hundreds of thousands, and they're all homogeneous products. Whereas something like jewelry, on the other hand, would be used by a job costing system because they're they're individual and unique, and you can make them for customers individually up to their standards. Like this, for instance, has like birthstones, stuff like that. And of course, like for a jeweler, he might not want to make diamond rings. He might want to make custom rings because he can make more profit that way. Other than that, the size of the job is definitely different, and record keeping is also different because with job costing, you're probably having a lot more detailed steps, and in process costing, you a lot of detailed steps for that process, and you'd be running those steps throughout the year. Whereas job costing, you're going to do it for an individual customer, and that's going to help you set a price for the customer. So customer billing is definitely different too. Whereas you can act in process costing, whereas in job costing, you're probably only going to do it on a base by base process because you don't know how much it's going to cost every time. And of course, there's companies who do both, and they do hybrid systems where they have individual costs, their individual unique jobs, and also for their big jobs, which are just pumping out a lot of the same thing. Kind of like a drum set back here could be made customly for an individual or a group of individuals, whereas other than that, you can just pump out this same exact drum set 100,000 times. So that's a little bit about process costing and job costing differences. So my camera cut off, but we will start again. So when it comes to activity-based costing, which is another type of costing that is a little bit better at accounting for costs where they should be applied. So right here we see that manufacturing overhead costs assigned to setups would be 200,000, whereas without the costing, you wouldn't really account for setups or batches. And when you don't do that, you don't get as accurate of a cost per unit. So when you do that, we're accounting for setups, the 400 of them, which at $500 per setup equals out to 200,000. And we're going to go over here to total manufacturing, which, let's say for drumsticks, 200 million for the overhead for the factory. We're going to have that cost right there for setups deducted from the total of manufacturing overhead costs, and we end up with 1,800,000 divided by the machine hours, rather than over here without it we get our 200 million divided by the machine hours, and we end up at $18 per machine hour used. And while over here we have $20 per machine hour used, which this would be more accurate. So after we figured out this, we go down here and we go to our next area where we are doing the number of units in the batches, and we're going to calculate that out. So that way we have 5,000 units, and a setup is $500 up here, as determined up here. That's what we're going to say the setup costs are. And that's going to equal up to 10 cents per unit of overhead for the we're going to do on this side. So instead of doing that, we have our 20 machine hours, or $20 per machine hour. And then we have the number of units produced per machine hour, which is 50. And that's going to give us our per unit overhead of production. Whereas over here, we're gonna allocate costs to the setup. So it's gonna be 10 cents per unit. And then right here, we're gonna have our $18 machine hours as determined up there, which is a little more accurate. That will give us a different cost right here. So 0.36 per unit of production. And then we're gonna add our 10 cents per setup to get the total overhead per unit when you're producing this amount. And as you can see, there's like two different numbers that aren't very drastic in difference, but they are going to make a difference when you're trying to sell a product and how you're going to set your bottom line. It's definitely going to make a difference on what you can do for your customer. And as you right here, where you're producing a small number of units, if you were to go with this, you might produce at 40 cents a unit, but at be 46 cents a unit. It costs you to have unseen costs, and you might end up making no profit if you sell at 40 cents per unit. Whereas right here, you can still make profit because you're taking into account that there are unforeseen areas that you are not getting when you're not using this costing method. So activity-based costing definitely helps. As well as you get a more accurate sense, you might be able to get a lower bid. See here we are using a larger amount of units in the batch. So obviously it's going to be 1 cent here, and we're only going to allocate that 1 cent down here. So when allocated per unit is going to be a lot less because we're producing more. So here you're going to be able to recognize that you can make more profit in the deal. And let's say I'm trying to get a bid for producing drumsticks for any company, then it would be a lot better for offer a low bid. I could say, hey, I can make him for 30 cents I can make him 40 cents a unit, where he might have to bid up to 42 cents a unit. And when you're making millions of drumsticks, that matters. So in this case, he would get the job and he wouldn't lose money. Whereas the company not using activity-based costing is gonna see unforeseen costs and possibly lose money. And here they're gonna lose the bid because they didn't recognize that they could make it for less.